Hello my friends and welcome. Let's go for the front lines review. The situation near to Antonovsky Bridge is standstill. The fog of war doesn't give us lots of the information. The latest we know that Ukrainian armed forces are still keeping their positions across the river. Not a long time ago Russia tried to use the Spetsnaz forces to attack our guys from behind. Russians were met with a heavy resistance and they lost everyone in their counterattack. Because of the very old boats that they had taken from the locals, they were unable to evacuate from the place at the proper time. As for the Iskander ballistic missile strike that Russia conducted 2 days ago, according to our information, there were no losses from Ukrainian side, but part of the bridge construction was destroyed. So what is the next step for Ukrainian side in this area? The next step is to spread the controlled territory to get as much land as possible, and after that to put maybe pontoon bridges to make it easier for the heavy vehicles to cross the Dnieper River. Without it, the further movement of Ukrainian armed forces more to the south is unrealistic. Well, still we may try to get the Aleshki village under control, but for that we need the artillery support, and for now we have it. But to move further to the south we need armored vehicles, heavy tanks, etc. For that we need bridges 100%. If you check the Russian defense here in this area, it is not as significant as in Zaporizhia. There is just one big line near to Crimean border, but if you look at Zaporizhia, oh my god, it's very strong. But still Ukraine is capable to penetrate the defense lines in Zaporizhia. However, the cost of it for Ukrainian army would be dramatic. That's why for now Ukrainian army moves slower, but according to some of the official information, we should wait for the main strike very soon. Today, one of the advisors of President Zelensky's office said that Ukrainian army has found the weak spot in Russian defense and will put all of the forces there. I wonder where's the place, because this is the most protected area on the front lines from what I can say. Here could be, but without the bridges it would not be a successful counterattack. Maybe over here, because there is just single, maybe two defense lines in this area. As for the Bahkmut, Russia built the defense lines behind the city, so we may try to take it under control with many of the forces, but the armed forces of Ukraine will face resistance moving further eastbound. For this day, speaking about the front lines, especially on the south, everything more or less silent, but I guess this silence is before the huge thunderstorm. However, everything is still boiling. Today I published some of the videos on my Telegram channel how the 3rd Assault Brigade of Ukrainian Armed Forces had taken some of the ground near to the Bahkmut area. I cannot show them on this platform. For that, please check out my Telegram channel. It is available in the video description just below. I use it to publish up-to-date information out there, so if you want to be quick updated on situation in Ukraine, join my Telegram. Also, there is the fighting in Klishivka for those heights. It is happening just right now. And Russia sent more reinforcements to the northeast part, where they are still keeping this some sort of the hump, but Ukraine tries to get rid of it. According to the Russian resources, the fighting for Berhivka has begun. But it's better not to trust the information that is coming from the Russian media or Russian military bloggers. Sometimes they may publish the truthful information, but usually it's just 10% from everything they say. Speaking about the Wagner military camp that was built in Belarus, we have the photos right from the facility. More or less it looks like the concentration camp. The building process is still ongoing, but those are just simple tents. Those been used in Belarus army before, and they started to use it to build the military camp for Wagnerites. This is how the bed looks like, and I would say that you cannot live in those conditions for a very long time. Even with some sort of the oven system during the winter time, it would be very cold out there. So maybe it is the temporary solution for Wagner army. Maybe they will be used very soon somewhere, or maybe they would be replaced to other facility, because this is for sure temporary one, and the beds that they were able to build are not straight, they're curved. I call this place the Wagner chicken coop. We have the military map update from different resources. It says that Ukrainian army is now holding the positions close to the very important heights, and in future they will go to Klishivka. Klishivka itself is located on a lower ground compared to surrounding terrain, so it would be much easier for Ukrainian army to get control over this particular village, but only after we take the very important heights over there. After Klishivka, we may use this road to go, for example, to Bahkmut, or we may try to go to Opetne. I would say that the second variant is more profitable. This morning, Russia struck the building in Sumy, causing lots of the devastations to that area. Unfortunately, 2 of civilians lost their lives because of the Russian attack. There is the Ukrainian intelligence facility not far away, but Russia aimed towards the residential building, causing lots of the devastations. We even have the strike itself on the video, but I'm unable to publish it here. As you see, the Shahid drones cause lots of the devastations. They have around 50 kg of the warhead. According to the latest information, Iran together with Russia started to build a new factory to produce those Shahid drones in Russian Federation, unfortunately. President Zelensky gave the interview to CNN Resource. He said that without Crimea, the war wouldn't be over. The Ukrainian officials start to say that some of our allies are pushing Ukraine for some sort of the negotiations with Russia. They say that Ukraine may take the ground, let's say, till Crimea, but after that should start negotiations. It is not what the majority of the Ukrainian society wants, and it's not the policy of our government and president. So I guess that even without the military support from some of the allies that would say, okay, the fight is over, try to talk, Ukraine would continue the planned liberation of our territory. But from what I see, that our main allies will continue to support Ukraine in its fight for independence. By the way, for me it is already 4th of July, the Independence Day of our main ally, I would say, the United States of America. Congratulations, fellow Americans. Alright, one of the Ahmad battalion commanders was demilitarized today. His name was Yevgeny Pisarenko. It's quite Ukrainian surname. Nevertheless, he was the Chechen commander and now he is gone. Where it was done, probably near to Marinka. Good news from Denmark and Germany, they will send more Leopard tanks to Ukraine, this time Leopard 1A5. We're gonna receive dozens of those tanks in nearby weeks. That's awesome. Not a good news really, there is the problem with the pilot training on F-16s. It should have begun the last month, at the beginning of the last month, but it hasn't begun yet. Our allies are saying that they are still making the preparations for the training, but June was negotiated, not July or August before. In that case, it will postpone the delivery of the airplanes to Ukrainian side, which is not really good. In that case, I might say that they will be ready till next year, after the winter season is over. Minus one more K-52. Probably I'm gonna record the video why this helicopter is not as good as Russia is saying about it. It's not even close to be competitor for Apache. There's the video published saying that it is the British-made AS-90 self-propelled artillery system. Actually, it's hard to say because there is not much left from this vehicle and the crater is just astonishing. What Russia used to target this position, probably the aviation bomb. Even now, when the Ukrainian army goes on offensive missions, it loses much less vehicles compared to the Russian side. It's a miracle, my friends. Because usually the attacking side loses 3 times more equipment and infantry compared to defending side. The information about the losses comes from the Oryx resource. They analyzed the pictures that were taken from the front lines by drones or by the soldiers, and then publish all the information to the big table. Here you see that the data is taken for just 3 of the days, and unfortunately Ukraine lost 1 more Leopard 2A6 tank. But the Russian side lost many more of the tanks. This is the satellite image of the destroyed oil facility in Voronezh. Then Wagner forces took the area. Russia launched the rocket attack on their own oil facility because they were afraid that Wagner might refuel their tanks using this oil storage. storage. They lost at least 3 of the oil reservoirs and many were damaged. Probably this is the photo of the Leopard 2A6, but it could be the old one. At least it was shared by many of the channels. Unfortunately, as you can see, the tank caught fire and probably it is lost. Hopefully crew survived this attack. This photo was shared on internet. How it got there, I'm out of clue, because I got it from my internal chats, but now you can see it all around the Twitter. The photo was shared already somehow, so I may speak about it. It's the personal story of mine. It's about my friend Dmitry. You may see the message for Dmitry from Ukraine International Airlines and friends. Dmitry, my friend who used to be the pilot in Ukraine International Airlines, lost his life last week because of the Russian missile strike. So it was the revenge. Storm Shadow went on the Russian positions, presumably in the area where he was attacked from. Here you may also see the adapter of the Storm Shadow rocket, so you cannot put it directly under the wing of Sukhoi Su-24, because Su-24 is the Soviet airplane. Well, this adapter, from what I was able to find, was cut from the Tornado airplane. Pilots also need to have the special electronics installations in the cockpit to launch this cruise missile, so modification was done to the Soviet airplane. So a couple of months ago, then we started to receive those Storm Shadow cruise missiles. It was the final stage. The airplanes were already modified. Alright, now just a part of the crazy Russian propaganda that they shared in the elementary school. You can see some of the characters, Winnie the Pooh and the piggy, chicken that illustrates the United States of America. So clearly here you can see some of the violence from the Winnie the Pooh and Piggy. I was looking at it thinking that something is really wrong with those pictures. It's not the fight, it's not the chicken, it's the classic Russian stupid propaganda, but the piglet has the beard. So he really looks like the soldier from the Ahmad battalion, Chechen soldier, Muslim. Pig. That is the most cringy thing in this picture. My friends, now press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, there will be some of the links in the video description just below for you to do so. Special thanks for my Patreon supporters and also the sponsors of my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your awesome help. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.